Stacey, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. I can't even believe that we're going to get a chance to talk because the city itself, TIFF is going on. In the middle of TIFF, you've got an EP release. You're doing a bunch of interviews. And the fact that, and where are we hanging out here for this great weather here in Toronto?
We're at Loveless Cafe on Dundas.
And I noticed you had yourself a drink. You were enjoying yourself?
Yes, a lovely kombucha.
Very cool. The fact that you even got yourself a break, this is great, but at the same time, business, busy. How does it feel getting new music out, and how does it feel promoting it right here in Toronto?
It feels great. It's really exciting. It takes a long time to put everything together, the songs, the recordings, the art, the music videos, a team. So this is kind of like the fruits of your labor. So it's exciting to be here.
It's exciting for me because I've been able to talk to a lot of great artists. You're part of that new breed that's coming up. How do you feel the fact that Toronto Canadian artists really have been able to put themselves on the map and people are just like, wow, what's going on over there? The maple syrup, somebody's spiking it. And like I said, you're part of that whole new breed.
It's really exciting. I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for artists to really take charge of their career and, feel confident and excited that there's an opportunity for them to be seen on an international level, but I mean, of course, on a domestic level. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I want to get into the career and I want to get into the new music, but the thing I got to ask is, Stacey, capital letters. That was the first thing I noticed, and even before we started here, I asked why, is it capital letters? He said, yeah. Why the capital letters?
To be honest, it's an aesthetic thing. I like the balance of it. I tried lowercase just seems too boring, and the camel case or the sentence case, there's just nothing special about it. I don't know. I like it in all caps.
Well, that shows the reason why you are special. So I love the fact that you did that. But let's get into the love of music and it all began. And originally, where you're from, where did it all begin for you?
Well, it began in Carlisle, Ontario, which is a very small town between Hamilton and Guelph, just off Highway 6, if anyone knows where that is. And my mom asked if I wanted to take piano lessons when I was 7 years old. I grew up playing piano all through the Royal Conservatory system, so I did classical piano. I got my grade 8 when I was like 13. And then I really just wanted to play more contemporary stuff. I didn't really start singing or songwriting until I was about 18 or 19, when I went away to university. And then it took a little while of trial and error, and then I started to find things that would work for me and put out my first EP in 2013, and now we're at the second release.
When you were growing up, and I could call you a child prodigy, what was it like for you? Because for kids, sometimes they love to do this, they love to do that. I assume you loved a lot of different things, but what was it about music in general, though? What was it that really attracted you? And instead of just video games or hanging out with friends, that was something that was part of your life.
Yeah, it was something that just totally, utterly captivated my mind and my attention, and it was also a place of comfort. I remember even going, when I was in elementary school, there was a piano in the library, and I didn't like going outside for recess in the winter, and also in time when there were times where you were getting bullied, or I didn't have like a ton of friends, or like at one time or another, so I would just stay in the library and play piano, and it was just this magical world. When I sit down at the piano and start to play, there is nothing like it, and I still feel that way, so it's just always been super close to me.
Were you writing poetry back then, maybe? Like, did you have a journal or anything like that?
I did have a journal. I don't think that there was any good material in there. I tried to write a song when I was really young. I was maybe like 9 or 10 or something. And I took my parents' camcorder and I accidentally taped over one of my like swimming lesson videos of what I was like it's like 3-year-old Stacey swimming, and then like 9-year-old Stacey making a bad music video in the backyard, and I was just like motioning to the trees. Yeah.
When do you think then the actual songwriting, and not just musically but lyrically, when did you think that all started to come together?
You know what? Me and my one friend, her name was Kaylee, we did used to write poems and just email them back to each other over MSN Messenger when I was quite young. But I think that I really started to do it in like a songwriting capacity when I moved to university. I moved into residence a week earlier than everyone else. So I was in the middle of this large building, and I knew that no one could hear me. So I was on the 19th floor, and I just knowing that no one can hear you is like the permission to be terrible at it for so long. So I was, and I write it kind of as I sing. While I do like write some things down, a lot of it is organic and just kind of comes on the spot and was never written down anywhere. It just kind of like comes through me as I'm humming something while I'm playing piano. So
Lyrically, then, what were some of the stories that you were writing about?
they were always relationship oriented. It was just something that I didn't always know how to express, or felt like I would burden people to talk about my romantic or personal problems or journeys, and so it was really just an escape to work through those things on my own.
Artist, who were you listening to back then?
Who am I listening to right now?
No, back then.
Back then.
Back
Oh, around that time. I'm not sure. My musical listening trajectory has been kind of all over the place. I definitely, as a teen, listened to a lot of like Death Cab for Cutie and Coldplay and this really dark band, Brand New, but also pop stuff. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of all over the map. Later on, I got into it. It wasn't until it was probably around that time that I moved to university that I started getting into more of the classics, so like Carole King, Bob Dylan, Fleetwood Mac, all that stuff came a little bit later for me.
Eventually, though, you mentioned about you recorded a first EP. How did that all come about, and when did you decide, you know what, this music thing, I really want to take a shot at that?
Yeah, well, I had been writing songs in my dorm room for probably about, I guess that first year, and then the year after that I was in my first apartment. And I just finally got to a place where I was like, okay, I don't hate these songs anymore. I'm getting to a place where I'm not as hard on myself. And so I was like, okay, I have 5 songs here. How do I do this? How do I make a recording? And my friend at the time was dating Alex Bonenfant, who owns or runs Dreamhouse Studios. And I went in, we had a chat, and we just hit it off, and we've been close friends ever since, and we recorded the EP together.
Well, once one EP came along, a second one follows, which is the one we're going to talk about now. Give me the name of it and talk about the process of wanting to expand from your first EP to what we have now.
Mm-hmm. So the EP is called First Move. And I think it's been 4 years since the previous release.
I gotta stop you there. Why 4 years? Why so long?
It just took that long to, 1, write the songs, and 2, find the right fit in producers. I made it and I scrapped it. So this is kind of the second iteration of the EP. And the first iteration had different songs on it. So I was just like, you know what? This isn't quite right. I felt like I needed more of a producer than an engineering kind of team, and I felt like I needed to have some stronger songs. So a few songs made it on from that iteration, made it on to this EP. But really, I wanted to build up the production and have it be an evolution of my sound. So it's still very much me. There's very drenched reverby vocals, but the production is built up a lot more to have a lot of peaks and valleys. I wanted there to be really epic moments, and I still, of course, love piano, but I wanted it to be a bigger sound. So I was sort of trying to find that balance of the two things.
Lead single is?
The lead single is First Move, the title track.
This First Move thing, what does this mean for you? Especially as this is the second EP. I would have thought second move, but no, first move.
Yeah, it's a bit of a double entendre, but mostly kind of for me. Obviously, in the literal sense, that comes through in the single about, you know, in the romantic context. But the other meaning for me is making a first move into the music industry as a fully formed artist. I feel like I know who I am now, and I know what my sound is, and I know what my aesthetic is, and I'm just more comfortable in my own skin.
Congratulations on that. Have fans been coming to you talking about the music and how much it's been helping them?
Yeah, here and there.
What's that like?
It's really cool. I mean, that's the purpose of all of this, is to create connection, and also music always, for me, was listening, especially, I love sad songs, so listening to a sad song when I'm sad, to be like, oh my gosh, this songwriter, this person on the other end of this song has felt this same thing as me, and that's comforting. And so to now be on the other side of it as a songwriter is obviously a really full circle moment.
We have singles, we have an EP. Hopefully that means a tour, or maybe hooking up with some people to do some performances.
I would love to tour. I don't have anything in the works right now. I need a booking agent.
Okay, so then we got to get you out there for that. But in the meantime, though, as we're wrapping this up, what do you want to say to fans or people in general who are going after their dreams? Sometimes they get knocked, but they still want to follow it. You're doing it. What advice can you give them?
You have to work so hard, and you have to be so patient, and you can't really get discouraged. You just have to carry on.
You're doing it. You're definitely doing that. Website, Twitter, Instagram, all that social media stuff. Where do we go to follow you?
At STACEY Music, and it's STACEY.
Stacey, thank you so much for doing this with me. Let's talk again, and more importantly, cross fingers, album in the future. Let's talk when that happens.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be, I'm already writing for that, and I'm hoping that it'll come within the next year, but things sometimes take a little longer than expected, so we'll see.
Yeah, because we're talking perfection here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.